Hello? Hello, is anyone here? We're having a super rainy day, and I thought to myself, let's pull some cards. And then I was also sort of thinking to myself, what do I want to pull a card about? And lately I've been having an experience with someone kind of close to me, pretty darn close to me, who's lost a loved one. And lost a loved one, right? Depending on what you think about that. And I kind of want to work with this deck called the Voice of the Souls. And it can be used to communicate with your spirit guides and then also with people that maybe have passed through the veil. It's a deck to help you develop your intuition, your mediumship. It's a very beautiful deck, lots of gold accents on it. Ability to make contact with one's guides and with souls on the other side. So, this person did not ask me, of course. Of course, no one ever asks me to pull cards for them. But I kind of am going off of, she was telling me she wished she would get some sort of sign from him. And then she quickly said, but that would freak me out. So that right there is like, yes, I want something, but no, I can't handle it. So I was like, so you see how that's maybe not going to come through for you if you're like wishing for something, but then also you're like, no, I don't want it. So what do you actually want? But then I thought to myself, I wonder if she would ever want me to pull cards for her. And then I thought to myself, I wonder if I could just do a general reading to connect with someone on the other side. Like if you're missing someone on the other side and you've been waiting for a sign, could that possibly come out in the cards today? So that's what I'm doing. And if I don't like it, I don't have to publish it, Sadie, okay? Hey, what's that? I always like to give myself permission to never publish anything so that I can feel no expectations, no whatever, and just pull some cards and see what comes out. This is definitely the deck that I'm thinking of. Voice of the Souls Oracle by Isabel Cerf, C-E-R-F, illustrated by Dafina Saban. And it's got a great guidebook. I like that you can use it in 3 different ways. Like for each card, like say we picked anger. That's a good one for me. You can either get a message from your soul, your spirit guides, or the entity that you are trying to contact. So before you use this deck, you can kind of declare or put your intentions for like, hey, I just want messages from my souls. I really have no interest in connecting with anything other than that. Maybe you want to connect with your spirit guides, or you literally are wanting to connect with someone specific. So right now, go ahead and think about what do you really want? Do you want to just to be connecting to your soul? Or do you want to connect with your spirit guides? Or is there an entity or someone specific that you would like to connect with? Let's see what else I can tell you about this. How to use the cards to prepare for a session with this oracle. Sit in a calm and serene spot. So I've tried to calm my space as much as possible. I'm going to cross my legs because I like to do that. And be serene and breathe. We just don't take enough time during videos to breathe. So this is like semi-hangout, semi-pull cards. I thought about doing a live stream, but I just was in no mood to push live and then deal with whatever showed up. So So maybe someday I'll have the right audience for doing videos like this. But I thought, I'm just going to pull with intentions to bring forth maybe a kind message, or this particular person that I am thinking of really wants closure because there was no explanation for why this went down. Even though we can generally explain all death as, that soul's contract, it was ready for it to go. Or one time, Abraham Hicks, someone was asking them a question about Esther Hicks. They were asking them about a suicide, and they were just really upset about it and bothered and not understanding, not having closure, having like, what in the world? And Esther said this very profound comment that every death is suicide. So whether a person chooses it, in your opinion, deliberately or not, every death is suicide. Every death is a chosen choice, really, that now is the time to go. So even if it's of natural causes, it's decided on a cellular level that the soul has decided. And that did kind of bring comfort, or maybe a cessation of the wanting to understand this from that person. Like, hey, the soul decided it was time to go, just like it does every single time it leaves a body. So decide now whom you wish to communicate with: yourself, your spirit guides, or an entity, and pay attention to your feelings. What feelings? Pay attention to your feelings. So I would say I feel pretty neutral and kind of a calmness, a surrealness. I would say that people who have lost somebody, it feels surreal, not real. That means not real. Like, did this even happen? Are they really left? Have they really gone? Is this even life now? This isn't real. This doesn't feel real. So I feel like that can be how some people might relate to the experience, the collective experience of what it means to have someone leave their body. Pay attention to your feelings. If you feel negative energy or negative emotions, or if you're having negative thoughts, take time to understand why. Work on your energy and take up your reading again when your energy is completely positive. So to get my energy more positive, it makes me feel good to bring relief to someone with a message. It makes me feel happy to wish someone well and bless someone even in their time of need, but they're at their lowest when they're in grief. So if I can, help lighten it a bit, that would be nice. So we begin by closing our eyes and shuffling the cards. Cut the deck in half. Look at the two cards revealed by the cut. These two messages represent the energy of the reading. Let the feeling and the message of the reading come to you. So let's do that. Let's mix these up and shuffle them and see about cutting the deck and just getting the energy of the reading. And just a nice little hangout, continuing to breathe, continuing to feel your own message. So what if when people do go to the other side, you're like maybe looking for lights to flicker, or you're looking for what are you looking for? What kind of sign are you looking for? Like, could you just search for the feeling of thinking of them and then feeling kind of warm and kind of tingly and kind of, like just an awareness, a presence that you are seen and you are thought about. I've heard once that as soon as you think of someone on the other side, they're thinking of you. So a message to pass on and respect are the things that are coming out. Yes, I picked the weird portrait filter. So the color might go in and out, but a message to pass on: respect. What did these cards, how do they make you feel? So I like a message to pass on, right? That's why we're here. We're thinking about receiving a message. We're thinking about helping someone who is in grief. And it's coming through with respect. It's coming through with respect. I'm getting right away, respect my decision to leave this planet. And that can be very hard to do whenever, like, say, for example, it was a suicide and you're like, why the actual did you do that? How dare you? You know, like, and it's hard. I see a lot of people disrespecting people who commit suicide because, like, wow, what a wuss. You know, like, they just couldn't handle life, right? And they don't, like, respect their choice, which, you know, so I'm sort of feeling like there's, like, maybe the energy of disrespect. There could also be the energy of respect, time, you know, time, respect the need to just sit with this. Sit with this. So the vibe is cutting the deck. The energy of the reading is a message to pass on and respect. Okay. So it says to put this back together now, spread out the cards before you and select 3 cards. If you feel you only need 1 card or more than 3, follow that feeling. To clarify the message you're receiving, you can draw an additional card, place it on top of the other cards. You can draw as many freaking cards as you want. Beyond the cards' messages, pay attention to your feelings and, you know, write that down. So before you even get in guidebooks, it is definitely important to notice how things make you feel. So I don't really have room to spread out anything here, so I will pick a few cards for you. What did the respect make you feel? Did you download a message? Do you have a message to pass on for somebody? Do you have a message to pass on to the person that I'm thinking of? Like, if there's anything that came to you, comment and share it if you feel called to do so. All right, moving on with a message to pass on, a little bit of respect, a message to pass on to the person who is greatly confused and missing and wondering, and will there ever be a sign? Okay, so this message is coming with children. So relevant to what I'm thinking about, when people leave and it's like, why did they leave? They still have children here. Like, especially when someone takes their own life and they have had young children. Like, what is that even about? It's coming in number 14, children. And something that just jumped in my head is, well, one, my mother always says there's no wrong way to grieve. Like, whatever you need to do, you can do or feel. If you want to cry, you want to scream, you want to forget about it, like, there's no wrong way to grieve. You can take as long as you need, as short as you need. And then to spin off of that, you know, thinking of my mother, like, I'm going to be 46 on May 4th, but I am still my mother's child. And my mother, her mom is going to be 93. And when her mom dies, it doesn't matter how old my mom is. I'm not allowed to tell you how old my mom is. But she is still her mother's child. So it doesn't matter how, if you're, like, thinking of a parent, if you've lost a parent, it doesn't really matter, like, oh my God, I'm this old, I should, you know, be okay on my own without my mom or my dad. you are still their child, no matter how old you are. So I just wanted to share that message with you. I'm going to jump to the entity section of children because, oh, and I didn't even think about people who have lost children because my brain won't permit that. I don't like to think about that. But yeah, if you were thinking of a child on the other side, yeah, see, I don't even consider that because I won't allow that. That has to be the hardest thing of all time ever. But this is coming in. Now, this may or may not have anything to do with you, but I'm going to read it anyways. So the entity with the child, it says, you and I have ties with childhood. Only you know what that means. I wasn't a happy child, but I know my soul chose this experience for a reason. My goal was to find an energy of resilience. Your childhood may have been complicated too, and I know I owe you an apology. So I know I owe you an apology. When I think back to childhood, my throat tightens like there were things I could not yet say. I know you feel the same. Perhaps we can work together. By connecting to your childhood, by understanding the meaning of events, by showing forgiveness, you also bring me freedom. You help me awaken, free myself, and rise up. So I do feel like, if you do have animosity to someone who has passed over because, you're resentful for them for any reason, show forgiveness and understand that if they could come back and say they were sorry for causing you this pain, they just might. We are mirrors of particular memories, but we also have the same inner strength. Remember, you have your free will and you can be who you decide to be. I have faith in you. You can be that person. You can do it. So that's the entity message. Shall I read the other two just for whatever reason? I don't know. We're just making a video here today. Your soul says, while you don't always see it, I'm often in touch with your inner child. Your inner child needs assurance and love. Sometimes you can feel them, but you run away. Then you create negative relationship patterns and accept situations that aren't aligned with your needs and expectations. Often at nightfall, your inner child manages to get in touch with you, but part of you always avoids them. Just like me, your inner child is part of you. They aren't your enemy. On the contrary, your inner child is your joy, your laughter, your touch of madness, your spontaneity, your optimism, and your capacity to love. Even if your inner child is sad today, only you can reassure them and take a step towards them. So using your choice of method, go find your inner child. They are waiting for you and they do not hold blame. Your inner child knows you are doing your best to keep a level of emotional balance. They are your best friend, so reassure them and create a new positive duo. Together you'll experience beautiful surprises and synchronicities. So if you are wanting to get a message from someone on the other side, you actually can't receive much of anything if you're feeling sad, if you're in grief, if you're feeling angry. You will not hear them, you will not feel them, you will not be open. So if you can get a little happy, if you can let your inner child come out and play, if you can get some optimism, if you can laugh, if you can get a touch of madness, you got to get crazy enough to hear the messages. You got to get a little feeling better. You've always had an emotional, spiritual sensitivity. This is the message from your spirit guides. Even as a small child, you connected strongly to your capabilities and your feelings, but when you grew up, you lost this connection. Now you may feel nothing, or that it's an uphill struggle. So when we first started this reading, it said for us to feel into our feelings. And I did say, what feelings? So yeah, sometimes we do become very, very, very numb and feel nothing at all. But this is not so. It's not so that you've lost any type of connection. Your spiritual greatness has always been present. So take time to reconnect to your childhood memories. What you experienced wasn't related to magical thinking, it was real. By reconnecting to your childhood, you will reconnect to your third eye, you will reconnect to your crown chakras. You will reconnect to your inner and spiritual strength, guiding you to a new harmony of energy. And you will realize that everything has meaning, and you will understand the meaning of past events. You are an old soul with great spiritual sensitivity. So back to thinking about the person, there is a lot of energy of children. One, if they've left children. One, if it's made you need to reconnect with your inner child. If it's made you understand that, like, even if you're an adult, you can still have that small aspect of you. And then, yes, the big question with my friend is, how could you leave these children? How could someone deliberately want to leave these children? There is that. And in that message, it did say, I owe you an apology. For sure. All right, let's pull. I'm going to pull 3 cards. I'm going to commit. And then I'll be committed. Okay, so this one flipped out. It is fears. It is fears. So the fears. How will I ever be the same? How can I live without this person? I'm afraid of dying. There's a lot of fears that come up when you lose someone, because a lot of times when you go to a funeral and you see everybody crying, like, yes, they're crying for that person. Yes, they're crying for the people who are hurting so bad. But they're also, I swear, I know this for sure, they're crying for themselves and their own mortality. So the, oh my God, I'm going to die someday comes up. Oh my goodness, how could I ever live on this planet without the people I love the most? Fears. So what kind of fears get stirred up? Nobody really wants to look at those. But if we could take a minute to look at them together, would they be less burdensome? So if you feel like part of your energy is frozen in fear, it can interfere with your connection. It can, so like somebody who wants a sign, who would like to have a sign from their person, but yet no, that will freak me out. So they are like, no, I don't want to. So they cannot hear a message, even if it is staring them right in the face. Now, I did suggest to my friend, like, maybe ask for a sign musically. Be open to messages coming through via the songs that come on the radio, or in that manner. That could happen. Fear is not to be fled from. Fear is positive when it comes as a warning. Part of you feels in danger. I invite you to understand why. Why do we have the fears that we have? This is kind of an interesting card. There's a snake on it, and it's just changing colors. It's so cool. And like the dagger is going through the snake, but it's also going through the hand. Isn't that interesting? So understand why you fear what you fear. Why are you afraid of being in touch with yourself or of listening to yourself? Why do you feel talking to your own soul endangers you? All the counsel and messages I have for you are positive. They are here to help you move forward serenely, but maybe you don't want them quite yet. Maybe you're just not ready. Maybe you're just not ready. It's really too soon to be asking for a message from someone on the other side. Maybe you have to really, you haven't even let yourself hit that low point yet. You have not gasped for air, crying, suffocating from grief. You don't feel like your heart is being ripped from your chest enough. Maybe you're just not ready. Anyways, essentially, do not try to run from fear. Pay attention to its warning. You will open your eyes to important things and move forward in a new way. So that's your soul talking to you. Your spirit guides are stepping in to say, it's like a part of your energy froze 2 years ago. Maybe it was related to an event, a situation, relationship, but since then a kind of fear has taken root. It has become your guide and is hindering your process. So anyone who has children, going back to the first card, may understand fear in the type of way only parents can grasp. Like, you've never known how to worry about someone until you have your own children, and nothing can fear you more than thinking about losing them or them getting hurt or somebody hurting them or them being betrayed. Or, like, if you aren't fearful ever in your life, have children. Have children. So today, come to an understanding the meaning of your past events and take a new path. By being in a new inner energy, you will create outer energy. So you have to change what's going on inside of you, and then you can change what's outside of you. You may feel this is very slow. The pace is very slow, but it's up to you to set a new pace. Everything is within your reach, and you can do this. Now, if you're trying to connect to somebody on the other side of the veil, someone who's died, passed on, moved on, left their body for whatever reason, and you're feeling fearful to do that, take a minute to ask yourself why. You know, you want your own answers to bubble up within you. The person you're trying to contact might be saying to you, you may feel afraid to contact me. You may feel afraid of the messages you'll receive. You may feel afraid of what you're feeling. This contact isn't negative, and I can't cross the boundaries you set for yourself regarding your psychic ability. So if you say, no, that'll freak me out. Okay, you just set the boundary. No means no, even in the spirit world. So you're setting these boundaries, and no one on the other side can cross them. I am not the only one trying to contact you, but part of you limits communication. I understand and I respect your pace. So initially, the vibe of this reading was going to be passing on a message, but also had respect. Respect has resurfaced again. Your boundaries are respected. Your wishes are respected. Your pace, your healing, where you're at, that's all being respected right now. I invite you to understand the source of your fear. Fear was something I knew during my incarnation. I was often afraid, and my soul was frozen for a long time. I missed many opportunities. I am not afraid of you, and I want to pass on some important messages to you. You need to discover new things inside you. You have a real thirst for discovery. I can feel it. So one more message is to free yourself from fear so the energy of love may take its place. Contact then will be simple and fluid. I will manifest my presence through colors. In the signs, you'll receive a color will be dominant. The color will always be the same. The color will be me. It will be my sign to prove that my soul is truly by your side. I just am finding it interesting that I decided to use the filter that took the color away from the background. So maybe this blank blah palette I'm presenting you with today can help you intuitively tune into the color that your person will be using. So either you know this right away, or you can be aware of its presence in the next few days. I mean, when I looked over to the left of me, I have a little bag with like different, well, it's the chakras. These little different circle things. Yeah, they're called mandalas, they're chakras. And the one jumped out at me more than other. So this week, start to notice like what colors are like grabbing your attention. If you're like, oh my gosh, like that's so-and-so's color. I just know it. All right, one more card. Do we want one more card? Do we want to take a deep breath again? Bring it up through your nose into your brain. All right. So children, fears, respect, a message. You want the sign, but you're kind of too afraid to receive it. Understand why. Investigate within yourself. Do you even want to have that? All right, and then we're just ending with a spiritual message, and I think that's kind of where it was slightly going. Like, you're capable of more. You're capable of gathering more insight from the spirit world, but you have to pass through your fears. You have to pass through that smoke and mirrors, and then you can really receive the spiritual messages. But also, it's like, wait, I was walking through cobwebs. It's also like, how will this devastating energy, because it's not fun, it's not good. How can this sadness, this grief, this devastating energy take you to a better spiritual place? And I'm sort of feeling like I don't even care about that better spiritual place. I'm so sad right now. I'm so upset. I'm so scared. I'm so like, why would I even care to evolve my own soul after this? But it is true that life goes on, especially if you were left with children to take care of. You're not going to be able to be no scaredy cat anymore. Like, you're going to have to keep going. And because you keep going, that resiliency transports you into a better place spiritually. All right, so let's just see what else 41 has to say. I always have an inner dialogue going on, and of course mine is very critical, and it's just like, this reading has been garbage. But then I have to remember that first card that we did pull, Set the Vibe, was respect, and the first line of that is respect yourself. So, I mean, I don't ever make any claims whatsoever. If me sitting in front of a camera helps somebody, great. If not, great. If not. It gave me something to do on a rainy day. All right, so spiritual message says, this card is here to help you connect to your psychic abilities. Take a moment to visualize this card. So take a moment to really look at this card. You are invited to receive a spiritual message from your soul, your spirit guides, or your entity. Write down what you feel. Look at this card for as long as you need. You are invited to see a message on your own beyond the card's description. So be confident in yourself. And if you came to this video thinking I was going to give you a message, you're wrong. You're going to get your own. Maybe that's why I feel so disappointed in myself. It's not my place to give you this message. You're fully capable. You're fully capable of receiving yourself. Okay, that's that.